This body cam footage shows police questioning Sushi Staples about her 10-year-old son Zion, who had been missing for months. Sushi denies that she even had a son, saying that the boy's birth certificate and social security card found in the home were fraudulent.
I'm scared to death because I don't know what's going on.
And so the reason we're here, okay, is because we're investigating a call that we had, okay? The officers came out and talked to you last night, correct?
Yes.
Okay. We have to handle that real seriously, okay? Because the allegations are that you have a son and that he's deceased and he's here in this house. Okay, so that's where we're at right now. Do you have a son named Zion?
No, I don't.
You've never had a son named Zion?
No.
Are you claiming benefits for a kid named Zion?
No. I haven't gotten any benefits for anyone.
However, the case would take a disturbing turn when the boy's body was found stuffed inside a metal trash can in the family's garage.
When the child was discovered in the trash can itself, was the child in a bag, or how was the child visually seen?
With a pair of Spider-Man pants on, and that was it.
So in the trash can, no bag, correct?
Correct.
So what happened to little Zion? Why did it take so long for anyone to notice that he was missing? What could have been done differently to save the little boy? Let's explore this heartbreaking case of the Heartless mom who threw her son's body in the garbage can for 7 months.
Some lady called DCFS and kind of made some claims that you had a child that accidentally shot themselves.
Absolutely not.
No, it sounds crazy to me too.
On July 25th, 2023, police in Rock Island, Illinois received an alarming call from a woman reporting a weird conversation she had with a friend named Sushi Staples.
First was just like a regular phone call, like how you been doing and stuff like that. And then I heard her like crying a little bit. And I asked her, I said, what's wrong? And she just stated to me that Christmas will never be the same again. She then stated to me, I said, why, what happened? And she was like hesitant to bring it out and tell me. She then told me that her son she was gone from the house, and she told me that her son had shot himself.
And who do you know her son as?
Zion.
Okay.
The friend said that instead of calling the police, Sushi confessed that she'd hid her son's body in the garage because she was scared that her other children would be taken away from her.
She stated that he shot himself. At the time, he was 9 years old. I said, what do you mean he shot himself? I asked her several questions like, how did he get a gun? Like, how did that happen? She explained to me that she had just stepped out to run some errands, and she received a call from her daughter Serenity saying that Zion was gone. And she said, what do you mean gone? She said, why is he gone? Is he outside? Tell him to get back in the house. But she told me before she left, he kept saying that how he missed his dad or something like that. And he was crying because he felt like he missed his dad or something like that, she had stated to me. Then she said that, Serenity said, no, he's on the floor. He's bleeding everywhere. She feared that they would take her kids away, and she was scared to lose everything. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she said she still had him there. She told me she purchased a burning barrel from Home Depot or something like that you burn leaves and stuff in, and she stored him in that. I'm like, what? And she said, yeah, he was stored in that in her basement. She said she tried to set him on fire.
After this shocking information, police went over to Sushi's home to investigate. She vehemently denied knowing anything about the allegations, claiming that she didn't even have a son. She made herself out to be a victim, talking about how her ex-husband's girlfriend had been harassing her and alleging that she was probably the one who called in the tip to harass her.
Staples?
Yes, how can I help you?
So we got kind of a weird phone call. Do you know Latricia?
No,
No.
I don't know anybody out here.
Some lady called DCFS. And,
What?
And kind of made some claims that you had a child that accidentally shot themselves.
Absolutely not.
No, it sounds crazy to me too. That's what.
I am so sorry about this. My ex-husband, his new girlfriend, this broad is off the chain. I have went down to Rock Island and filed a police report on her.
Okay.
I have went and put a restraining order on her.
What's her name?
Her name is Tony. This girl is never in it. She has so many different Facebook pages she stalks me from. She has made up different names, called me from different numbers. I have changed my number, tried to do everything I can.
Right.
Unfortunately, I can never seem to get them served because they're always bouncing around in the Chicago area.
She continued insisting that she didn't have a son and was offended that the police would even question her about something so ridiculous. But when the police asked to check her garage so they could be sure everything was okay, she completely refused and demanded to see a search warrant.
You guys only have girls?
Yes.
Okay.
I have 4. Do you want to see them?
No. They said it was a son. I was just curious
Sir,
if that's even true.
It's not.
Okay.
It's a never-ending story with these two.
I get, like I said, I'm not trying to bother you or anything, but we get a call, no matter how crazy it sounds, we still got to come up and see if there's any truth.
And this is crazy.
It is.
This is very crazy.
Okay.
I have been living here for 6 years. My neighbors have never had a complaint. Don't you think if my neighbors would have heard something like that, they would have made a call or said something to somebody?
I would believe so, yeah.
Just think about it. It don't make no kind of sense. This girl is psycho.
Just so I can check the box off, can I look in your basement real quick and I'll get out
No,
of here?
you need a search warrant to do that. I'm sorry, I'm not about to have rights violated because someone makes Uranus allegations like this.
I know. Like I said, it sounded crazy to me too. I'm just up here seeing if, we have to investigate it.
The police, of course, didn't believe her story and suspected that she was hiding something. And they were not wrong. So I couldn't find a lot of background information about Sushi Staples or her son Zion, but here's the little that I did find about her. At the time of the incident, she was 37 years old and had 8 children. Her first child, who was 20 years old, was born when she was 16 or 17. Her children never went to school because apparently she was homeschooling them. However, as you might have already guessed, the Department of Child and Family Services, DCFS, had several contacts with Sushi and her children over the years. Their first contact was in 2003, and it involved her eldest child, who ultimately went into the care of DCFS. Then, in 2004, the second-born child was also taken into the DCFS's care following reports of maltreatment. Another complaint didn't come until 17 years later, in 2021, when a tipster said that one of Zion's older brothers, who was 14 at the time, was being confined inside the home. Both Sushi and her then-husband, Latez Owens, were named as perpetrators in the case. However, the DCFS ruled that allegations were unfounded, and the family was referred for community-based services. The couple had a tumultuous marriage, which ended in June 2023. So after the police had spoken with Sushi, they went and got a search warrant and returned the next morning, July 26th.
Can I see the warrant, please? And I can call my lawyer. Can I see the warrant before we walk any further?
We have a valid search warrant.
Police had even called DCFS and established that Sushi did have a son named Zion living with her. She was even receiving benefits for him, but Sushi was adamant with her story.
I'm scared to death because I don't know what's going on.
And so the reason we're here, okay, is because we're investigating a call that we had, okay? The officers came out and talked to you last night, correct?
Yes.
Okay. We have to handle that real seriously, okay? Because the allegations are that you have a son and that he's deceased and he's here in this house. Okay, so that's where we're at right now. Do you have a son named Zion?
No, I don't.
You've never had a son named Zion.
No.
Are you claiming benefits for a kid named Zion?
No. I haven't gotten any benefits for anyone.
Sushi seemed to have answers for everything. When the police told her that the DCFS had had contact with Zion and that they had interviewed him a few years earlier in the home, she said that maybe they had interviewed some neighbor's kid who was hanging around in her home.
You filed for public aid. You got your daughter.
Gotten benefits since I was in Chicago, so I'm not sure. I told you my identity was stolen. Mm-hmm. My taxes were illegally filed. I went through a whole thing with the IRS. That was not me.
But who was this Zion that was interviewed by DCFS up in Chicago, right in the presence of all your other children?
There was no
Zion
one interviewed.
Staples.
No one was interviewed. Where did it say someone named Zion Staples was interviewed?
It was.
Because the call was made about my son Kentrell by his father.
Yes.
It was never made about a Zion Staples.
But when they went there
DCFS
was.
did a report.
The only child that they spoke to, because it was regarding him, had frequent visitors. We had kids in the neighborhood come over.
So
some of those kids that were implicated were not, in fact, our children. They were there.
So you're saying there was a kid in your apartment that was not your kid, named Zion?
I didn't say his name was Zion. No.
Well, somewhere here, we've got to clear this up with this Zion Staples.
The detectives confronted Sushi about the information they had received that she had texted someone about the police approaching her the night before.
Officer left last night. You texted this person and was talking to him.
Taking pictures of now.
Well, we have to take pictures of the whole house, and then we'll search, just to show that we're not like breaking stuff and everything else like that.
Destroying your place.
So you were pissed off that the officers were here, and then you.
I didn't know who it was because I thought it was this girl that found my number again, because nobody has my number. So I thought it was her harassing me again. That's why I told the officer last night.
Who did you text? And
I thought it was Tony.
because we have the whole text thread between you two right after the officers left.
It's pretty personal to each other, too. Like, you guys very well know each other.
But I thought
it's talking about somebody's daughter. It's talking about it's going back.
Because people are shitty. They say crap about your kids for what?
But you guys know each other. It's not a random just I'm texting a stranger getting mad. It's you two know each other.
You know what? People come after me all the time, and these are the same people I lend my hand to. I've paid for lawyers for people. I've helped people do things. So people envy you all the time. What can you do about it?
At this point, detectives knew that they would not be getting a straight answer from her, so they decided to arrest her on fraud charges. And Sushi was not happy about that.
What have I done?
You just admitted to fraud.
So now you're gonna railroad me on fraud?
Railroad you what? We're trying to figure out where your kid is. You're saying that he doesn't exist.
My kid. So now you're trying to railroad me.
Railroad you what? You did this to yourself.
Your officer just said he didn't. I didn't get any benefits though. I didn't file any IRS returns.
You're in possession of false documentation, and you already said that you signed up and have them for financial aid.
But I didn't. That's what I told you.
The police then searched the 4-bedroom house extensively, going from room to room. And when they got to the garage is when they made the horrific discovery. When investigators opened the lid of the metal trash can sitting in the garage, they found the decomposed and partially burned body of 10-year-old Zion. He was wearing nothing but Spider-Man pajama bottoms. The coroner determined he had died from a gunshot wound to the head, likely suffered in December 2022, which means that he had been dead for 8 months before he was found. The preliminary results showed the death was considered suspicious and not natural, but the coroner could not tell whether the boy had pulled the trigger himself or someone else had done it.
The Rock Island County coroner says the 10-year-old boy who was found dead inside a trash can was shot to death. The body of Zion Staples was discovered on July 26th, but investigators say he most likely died back in December. His mother, Sushi Staples, has not been charged with his death, but has been charged with concealment of a death, obstruction of justice, and failure to report the death of a child.
The news of Zion's death shook everyone in the community.
10-year-old Zion Staples found dead in a garbage can in his mother's garage on Wednesday. A neighbor in disbelief.
I've lost sleep over it, and I've prayed a lot.
According to court documents, Zion had been dead at the Rock Island home since December.
It's unbelievable that that could be across the street, and that something like that could have happened to a little boy.
Deb lived across the street. She did not want to be on camera.
I have to believe that she has done some extra measures to cover up that smell. Otherwise, nobody could have stood that.
The question that was in everyone's mind was why it took so long for anyone to notice that a little boy was missing.
I had a dead raccoon in my backyard, and we put it in a garbage can and put it, in a garbage bag, and then put it in a garbage can, and I couldn't even stand the smell waiting for garbage day. So I can't imagine that with the wind directions that nobody would smell that. And where was the school? And where was his family? Nobody seemed to come over there and question it.
The family seemed to go on with their lives as normal.
I just can't fathom, after having 11 grandkids, that anybody could do something like that. Or nobody. Being a grandparent, I would notice that one of my grandkids was missing.
Neighbors who had just recently moved into the neighborhood said that the family appeared to be a normal Christian family. And now, knowing what was in the garage about 30 feet from their new home, the neighbors said it was a bit worrying and kind of scary. Now, here's the thing. It turns out that the DCFS had received several concerns about Zion's welfare months earlier, but did not follow it up. The anonymous woman who called in the tip to the police said that she had called DCFS around January after Sushi made the strange statement that Christmas would never be the same again. Nothing was done. The woman said that she called several more times over the next few months, with her last call being in July 2023. At that point, DCFS told her to go to the police and request a welfare check, and that's how the police ended up finding Zion's body. Sushi was charged with 4 felonies, including concealment of a body, obstruction of justice, and failure to report the death of a child. She was held on a $500,000 bail at the Rock Island County Jail. During the preliminary hearing on August 31st, 2023, the lead detective on the case testified how Sushi had initially denied having a son named Zion, even after they found his birth certificate and social security card.
Ms. Staples was presented with the birth certificate and claimed initially she purchased it fraudulently and was using it to receive illegal government benefits.
The other 4 kids in the house had also initially denied having knowledge of Zion. However, in a second interview, they told investigators that Zion had been playing with a handgun and accidentally shot himself.
Gave the story that ZS was playing with a handgun and accidentally shot himself.
At that point in time, they admitted knowing that their sibling had passed away.
Yes.
Sushi also confessed to hiding the boy's body in a plastic bin in the basement after the boy died on December 21st, and then moving it later to the home's garage because she didn't want her other 4 children to locate him in the basement. She claimed that she had been keeping him there until she could afford a funeral.
The child was discovered in the trash can itself. Was the child in a bag, or how was the child visually seen?
With a pair of Spider-Man pants on, and that was it.
So in the trash can, no bag, correct?
Correct.
The detective also talked about how Sushi had used dryer sheets and air fresheners to mask the decomposition smell. After hearing the hearing, the judge found probable cause in the case, and Sushi requested a jury trial. But before the trial, Sushi took a deal and pleaded guilty to endangering the life or health of a child.
A family woman charged in relation with the death of her 10-year-old son has taken a plea agreement. 38-year-old Sushi Staples pleaded guilty this morning non-conforming to endangering the life or health of a child. She is now facing anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison. In exchange, other charges against her were dropped. Officials ruled the gunshot wound to her son's head was accidental.
During the sentencing hearing, Sushi appeared emotional as she asked for forgiveness, saying that she had failed everyone.
I realize, Your Honor, my actions failed my children, my family, my community, my co-workers, and all who truly know me. I am sorry for my actions and any hurt and embarrassment this has caused.
She told the judge that she always tried to do the right thing.
I should have done more and I should have made the right decision, but I just don't know what happened. I am not a criminal, I am not a monster. I am just a mother who have tried over and over again, no matter how many times I fall, to get up and do the right thing again.
The prosecution had asked the judge to sentence her to prison, while her lawyer asked for probation. Ultimately, the judge ruled in favor of prison and sentenced her to 2 years. She was given credit for the 204 days that she had already served in the county jail.
There needs to be an incentive for people who own guns to buy trigger locks, or have safes, or store these weapons where no children or other people with mental health issues can access them.
After completing her sentence, she will serve 6 months of mandatory supervised release. Additionally, due to her anxiety disorder, the judge recommended that she be placed in a mental health facility. Now, some people would say that this is a slap on the wrist, considering all the crimes she had committed while trying to avoid accountability for her son's death. But Sushi felt that 2 years was still too much time and wrote to the judge asking to take back her guilty plea and have her sentence reduced. She said that she is a first-time felon who has learned her lesson and she should be given probation and not sent to prison or a mental health facility. She later withdrew the motion and is currently held in the Logan Correctional Center. Her projected parole date is on July 26, 2024. What do you think about this case? Do you support Sushi's claims that she should have gotten probation and not prison time? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell button.